Chimney swifts are an aerial insectivore native to the eastern United States during the summer months. They spend almost their entire life after they leave the nest in the air. They eat, drink, and even bathe while flying. They don't have the ability to perch horizontally, so you'll never see them perching on fence posts or on power lines. Their abnormal body structure prevents them from landing horizontally, so they can only land vertically on hollow trees or in chimneys. You'll never see them hanging out on fence posts or power lines, but you will see them swooping through the air and you'll hear them melodic calls. Because they're aerial insectivores, they only eat insects, and they're a great form of natural insect control. The United States government classifies them as a near-threatened species because in recent years they've had their numbers drastically declining. The adult chimney swifts have a gland under their tongue which secretes a glue-like saliva which they use to bind together twigs, and then they bind the nest to this inside of a chimney or the inside of a hollow tree. The nest is used to raise their young. They'll lay about 3 to 5 babies per brood, and they have 1 to 2 broods per year. The babies will spend about 17 to 19 days in an incubation period as an egg, and then they'll hatch. They'll spend about 2 weeks of their life living in this tiny nest, and then at that point they'll leave the nest for about 2 weeks and will cling to the inside of the chimney wall. They typically will spend about 2 weeks clinging, and then they'll fledge out of the nest and continue their life as an aerial insectivore. Since they are a migratory bird that goes down to South America during the North American winter months, they are protected under the Migratory Bird Treaty Act of 1918. So consequently, it is illegal to remove any babies, nests, or adults from their nesting habitat during their breeding season. So if you have baby chimney swifts that are nesting in your chimney, it is illegal to remove their nest. A common call we get here at Southwest Virginia Wildlife Center during the months of July and August are about baby birds falling out of a chimney. 9 out of 10 times these are chimney swifts that have fallen out of the nest. When we have baby birds that have fallen out of a chimney, they always need help to re-nest. We don't always like to, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they need to be brought into rehabilitation. The ideal situation would be to re-nest the bird back in the chimney. If they're old like this and they're fully feathered, they're actively gaping, and they're actively chittering, and they're trying to actively climb up the wall, then the best thing to do is to let them go back up and be fed and supported by their parents. So you can, what you can do is you can get an empty margarine container or something to that sort and put a linen cloth inside. You can tape that to a broom or a long stick that you have, and then let that rest on the side of the chimney with the chimney swifts inside the margarine container. The chimney swifts will then crawl back up the chimney, and that just gives them a boost and gets them away from people, so they're not acclimated or scared. And then that lets them crawl naturally back up the chimney. But if birds that have fallen out of the nest and they've hit a hard surface, or they're obviously injured, or they're too small to climb back up the chimney, like if they're not completely feathered, or if they're cold, then they need to be brought into rehabilitation, because that's really the only chance we have, because they cannot be re-nested at this point. We're always open to taking any questions and wildlife concerns that people may have. We're located in Roanoke, Virginia, and our phone number is 798-9836.